Alright, so it's very clear that I've been gone from the internet for a cool little minute. This video is going to be me explaining what I've been up to, why I left, etc., etc. This will most likely be a long-winded video, so I don't apologize because I want to speak what I want to speak about, but this is going to be a lot of talking, so get prepared to hear me talk a lot. So before I get started, I'm going to be speaking on a story about an incident with a group of friends. I will be referring to these people as them, they, people, the group. I might say the group, but be referring to an incident with one specific person. I want to be as vague as possible because I'm not here to put people on blast. I'm not trying to single any individual person out. I just want to speak on the situation. If I'm being very honest, I was very hesitant at one point in speaking up about the situation because the people that I'm going to be speaking on, I was very worried about what they would feel about me, right? I don't feel that way now, and I want to make this clear as well. Everything I'm talking about is I've already dealt with and sorted out, and I've talked to medical professionals, therapy, family, other friends. I've even talked to some strangers about the situation, not in depth, but I've got overall opinions from even strangers. So I've definitely sorted this issue through, and I've come to an understanding and a clear closure. I've gotten closure from the situation. I understand where I went wrong. I understand where I did wrong, and I'm okay with that, right? I'm not here to bring it up as in I'm still hurt and I need to get it. It's not like that. I just want to reflect on it, and I don't feel like I'm wrong for wanting to reflect on it. And I do think, or not think, I know there was a point in time where I was a little worried and a little scared to bring this up because I was worried about what people would feel of me. But I've realized, thinking through it, and as time went on, I've realized that the people in this group that I'm going to be speaking about, they have already told me that I'm a bad person. They've already said I'm mean and I'm hurtful and I hurt their feelings. They've already told me that I hate them. They've already told me that I never liked them. They've compared me to someone that has sent them literal threats and body shamed them and said that they were going to go to their state and fight them. They've compared me to someone like this. So it's very clear. It was very clear to me once I thought about it that they already think I'm this bad person. So once I was able to realize that, I just feel like I can okay, well, let me talk about the situation, and I don't really feel as bad for talking about it because they already think I'm this villain. So if I make this video, what are they gonna think? That I'm an even more villain? I don't really care. They already think I'm a bad person. So I kind of just have this I don't care attitude about it. I didn't I didn't want to make this video at first because I was afraid of what they would think, but it's also just who cares what they think? It's especially right now. In the moment, I'm not here to lie. I'm being dead ass. Throughout these months, I definitely was thinking, and I was so worried and concerned, and I did care a lot about what they would feel about me. But now in this current moment, I kind of don't care what they feel about me because they've already made it clear that I'm a bad person to them, and they compare me to a really bad person, and it's just they already don't like me, so I don't feel like I need to save face anymore with them, at least. So I want to just save face for myself and any mutual people that and not save face, but I want to clear my name. I want to make sure the narrative that's being spun about me is accurate, right? I will sit here and admit, had I said some hurtful things? Yes. Had I said some mean things? Yes. I'm not trying to sit here and act like I never said hurtful things or mean things, right? But I also want to make it clear that I feel like a lot of the things I said were taken out of context of how I meant it. Now, did I say mean things? Yes, but the mean things that I said, I was trying to tell a joke, and the joke just didn't hit. And then people spun my narrative as if I was really trying to hurt people's feelings and say these mean things, when in reality, I just told a joke that wasn't that funny and it didn't hit. An insensitive joke. I told an insensitive joke, but I feel like there are plenty of people out there that have said insensitive jokes but aren't inherently bad people, mean people. They just said something thinking it was funny, and they find out it's not funny, and then they apologize for it. I apologize, right? I apologize to them, and I tried to clear everything up, and they were still trying to paint me as this person who's so mean and so evil, this lying, fighting demons, this crazy person, and I just didn't like that. And so here I am speaking on it right now, right? So I have to start to unravel all of what I just said. I have to tell the actual story of what happened. So back in March, when I left, when I made my last YouTube video, I think it was like in March, I was gaming with a group of people, right? Gaming with a group of friends. We were playing a game, and I wanted to win, obviously. And so I was trying to get the bad guy to get my friend and let me win, right? You know, I'm okay. Before I even put my opinion, we're gonna tell the story at like face value with no context, right? With no context, I'm trying to win, and I'm telling the bad guy, get my friend, right? One of my friends is trying to win too. There's two of us for the bad guy to pick out, and whoever he picks won't win, and whoever doesn't get picked wins. So me trying to win, I don't want to get picked, and I'm being funny. And also hold up, keep in mind, the bad guy cannot hear us. We're like talking amongst each other, right? I'm trying to win, and so I'm telling the bad guy, get them, get my friend, get them. They're my op. That's my op right there. Get my op. You don't want my op to win, right? I'm like trying to play into it, right? Am I being dramatic and extra? Yeah, that I kind of do that. Anyone who knows me, I'd be a little dramatic, I'd be a little extra, right? I don't feel sorry for being a dramatic or extra person. That's just who I am. If you don't like that about me, then you don't like that about me, and that's perfectly fine. I'm telling the bad guy, get them. That's my op. Get my op. That's my op. You don't want my op to win. My op's a bad person. They're a bad. And this is where I can acknowledge that I was doing too much. But I'm sitting there and I'm like, my op's a bad person, bro. They a bad friend. They're a bad friend. They're a bad spouse. They're a bad everything. They're just a bad person. You wouldn't want to save a bad person, would you? Right? Like I'm trying to like sell the story, right? In a joking way though. It's not like it's not like the bad guy can really hear me, and I'm really trying to convince a person that my friend are these things. I'm just trying to be funny and silly with it, right? But again, I can acknowledge calling someone a bad friend and calling someone a bad spouse. I can acknowledge calling someone a bad friend, calling someone a bad spouse. It's like, whoa, that's crazy, right? And I'm not trying to take away from that. That is a crazy thing to say. Period. And then in the context of this, it's like weird to say. It's like, why are you saying that, right? I can definitely understand people looking at me and being like, it's a game, bro. You don't need to be trying to say all that just to win in a video game. And I concede, yeah, I'm doing too much. And I never claimed I wasn't. I was doing too much, right? I really was doing too much. But keep in mind, I'm thinking I'm just being funny and silly, right? I'm just like, I'm trying to plead my case, bro. Y'all, if anyone that's seen me stream and stuff, y'all know I just be doing dramatic-ish when I play the game, right? I don't really be taking it seriously. I'm just being dramatic because that's just me. I'm a dramatic person. So I'm just like trying to, play it out. It's like a horror game. I'm over here trying to be funny and dramatic. I'm just like, get them. They're a bad person. That's my op, bro. You wouldn't let my op win. Get my op. They're a bad person, bro. They're a bad person. You don't want bad people to win. And I'm like selling the story. I'm over here saying, I'm a good person. I would never do this. I would never do that. Clearly, I've done some bad stuff in my life. I've said mean things in my life. Clearly, it's not like I've never done anything bad. I'm sitting there like trying to butter up the situation, right? But again, regardless of how I meant it, I definitely can see and understand how what I'm saying is just, it's unnecessary, right? Point blank period, it's unnecessary. So that happened with that. And then there was also one more situation where I was screen sharing my phone with my friends, and I think I showed like some private information, and I made a joke being like, oh, better hide my information before my friends steal it, right? That I said something like that. Just trying to be funny, and when I said that, it had hurt someone's feelings and played on, I suppose you'd call it an insecurity, I think, or like, something that they wouldn't joke about, right? It's just something that they wouldn't joke about, but I did, and I just like was absentmindedly trying to joke about it. Now, before I like get deep into my perspective on things, I want to just come forward and completely and clearly state, like I did then, that regardless of how I meant it, joking about insecurity of a friend, trying to call out the other person and saying they're my op and they're a bad friend and they're a bad person, I can wholeheartedly understand why that is wrong. Why they felt like that was wrong, right? I'm in no way trying to say that they're wrong for feeling the way they do. I'm in no way trying to say that they should have just took it and not been offended. That's not what I'm trying to say at all. I completely understand why they felt that way. I never had a problem with them feeling that way, right? What ended up happening was after I had said that, the group kind of went quiet for like 3 or 4 days, and the group reached back out to me in the group chat that I'm in, and they were like, hey, we want to talk to you about what you said the other day. And they let me know that it hurt their feelings and that they didn't think it was funny and they didn't think that was something I should have been saying, right? And again, they're completely correct. I'm not trying to sit here and act like I didn't say those things. I'm not trying to sit here and act like I don't understand why they hurt their feelings, right? And I apologized. I apologized on the text, and I think I also told them, can I please call them so that they can hear my voice? Because I wanted to make it abundantly clear, like I was not trying to hurt y'all's feelings, right? Not on purpose. Like I wanted to make it explicitly clear that yes, I said the things, and yes, they were hurtful. Please don't think that I sat there and like was premeditating and thinking, ooh, what can I do to hurt my friend's feelings? What can I do to make them feel as bad as possible? What can I do to embarrass them or something like that, right? So yeah, I'm making it I'm trying to make it abundantly clear that what I said was wrong. I understand their sentiments and that what I said hurt their feelings. And that, I wasn't trying to do that. And I am sorry. I was sorry then. I'm sorry now. I was never purposely trying to hurt their feelings. I was never purposely trying to make them feel bad. And then I just was trying to clear it up and I'm trying to clear it up just so that they know. I'm not trying to clear it up so that they would change their mind or anything. I just was trying to make it clear to them that I was just being extra and I'm thinking I'm being funny, but clearly I was not, right? I just want them to know I said it. I was trying to make it explicitly clear that I said it because I was trying to be funny, not I said it because I was trying to be malicious. And I felt like they kept trying to tell me and they were trying to like convince me into believing that I said it because I was trying to be a mean person or I was trying to hurt their feelings or I was trying to embarrass them or something, right? And that's just not the case. Again, I can sit here all day and admit that I said those things, and I can admit that I can understand why it hurt their feelings and why it's not okay, why it wasn't okay to say it, or I can understand how it hurt their feelings. But I also just didn't feel like it was fair to twist my words into making it sound like I was actively trying to hate on them, right? And keep in mind, up until that point, they had never said anything to me about me being this mean person or me trying to hate on them or me trying to embarrass them or me trying to downplay them or make them feel like bad people. This is the first time anyone's bringing something like this to my attention. So I'm thinking, this being my first time, I'm not like we can't sit here and make it a pattern and be like, oh, you've always did this, right? It's not like a pattern recognition thing. It's like, oh, this is the first time you did it. We're just letting you know, we can move on. And I was just trying to be like, hey, this is the first time I did it. Please don't think this is finna become a pattern. This is just me being stupid, making poor jokes and poor taste, and they're affecting y'all, and I wasn't trying to affect y'all, right? Like I said, I get on the call and I'm telling this verbatim, and I'm gonna be, I'm being transparent. I was like crying, bro, because I really, really felt bad. I really felt bad. I'm not telling y'all this to gain sympathy, at least not for me. Honestly, gain sympathy for them. I realized that I really said something mean to my friends, and it hurt their feelings, right? And I don't know. I feel like it's not uncommon, right? I feel like we've all had an experience with a friend or family or something where we said something a little hurtful and we didn't mean to hurt their feelings, but we're just like mad in the moment or trying to be funny in the moment, whatever the sentiment is. But we we say things and we don't think about them, and we don't realize that they hurt people's feelings. And that was one of these instances. I said something, I was trying to be like funny and just whatever, and I just didn't realize that it was gonna hurt their feelings, right? And I told them I was sorry, and I was crying, and I felt bad. I felt real bad, bro. Like, I felt really bad, bro. Like, no joke, I felt really bad. And I'm just like, sorry. Please don't, feel any type of way. Please don't think I really hate you. Please don't think I really think you're my op, etc., right? And so that day passes. That situation ends. We all go to bed. And I feel like any person in this world, when you have a conversation, you kind of like, when I'm laying there that night, I'm like rethinking the scenario in my head, and I'm like trying to make sure I said everything the way I wanted to say it, and make sure I'm clearing up things I wanted to clear up and whatnot, right? And so as I'm laying there, I start thinking like, I'm like wondering why, if this is the first instance where anyone's ever said that I've hurt their feelings like this, I'm just trying to understand where this narrative that I've never liked anyone, or that I've always hated them, or that I've always been secretly preying on their downfall, or I've always been just hating them and I've never liked them. I was trying to understand where that narrative came from, because from my perspective, if those things were true, I don't think I would have spent my time, my money, my emotions. Keep in mind, we've all like trauma dumped to each other about some real deep things. I definitely have sent at least $50, maybe even up to $100 to people, and like to their businesses and their companies. Some of the friends made me something for my birthday, and I paid for it. I'm like subscribing to people's things and liking and watching and donating. So it's like, I just didn't understand how the narrative that I've always hated these people formed, right? I just didn't understand that. And I felt like I was right in wanting to have a conversation about it and dive deeper into what I did that made them feel that way, right? And so if it wasn't the next day, it was like 2 days after that initial discussion, I sent a message, and I'm like, I don't mean to drag the situation on longer than it needs to be dragged on, but I just wanted to talk about where everyone's getting this idea that I hate them and I've never liked them came from, right? I just really wanted to get into that because, yeah, like, I value my friendships, and I feel like most people value their friendships. I think I'm very blessed in the friend department, especially in the world today. It's like not many people have a lot of friends. I actually do have like a cool little amount of people, different groups of people that I can go to and rely and lean on in this world. And I'm very, very thankful for that, right? And I know how much of a privilege it is to have a good, solid group of multiple groups of friends. And so, being that this is one of those groups of friends, I just want to like make it clear, or like really understand why they think this of me, so that I can fix that, because I don't want to be known as the person in the group who low-key hates them, I don't want to be the person that they're like, oh, low-key, she never liked us. Low-key, she never fought with us. I just feel like that's a lie, because I've always liked them and I've always fought with them. I'm investing all these resources into y'all. I'm sharing all these things with y'all. So how can y'all sit there and genuinely feel like I don't like you, right? And so I'm just trying to understand, like, is it just that moment? Like I'm just trying to understand, in that moment when I made those jokes, those insensitive jokes, again, I'm not trying to sit there and like minimize the situation. They were very insensitive. They were not funny. They hurt their feelings. I can wholeheartedly acknowledge that. But I'm trying to understand, off of that one situation, you came to the conclusion that I never liked you? Or were there other instances where I said things and did things that y'all didn't appreciate that made y'all not like me? I'm just trying to like get that out of them. And as far as I remember, the only thing they said was it was just that one incident. And so I'm just trying to say, I'm just trying to understand. I really am trying to understand. I'm just like, how from that one incident is it I've never liked you? They were saying it with such conviction. It's like off of that one situation, they like instantly knew I didn't like them. Like to me, it just felt like that incident was the proof that they needed to be like, oh yeah, see, I knew it. She never liked me. But to feel that way, I feel like there would have to be other instances of me demonstrating that I didn't like you for you to confidently say that, right? And again, I'm just trying to like come to an understanding why they felt that way, right? And I don't feel like I'm wrong for wanting to understand why they felt that way. So I'm just asking. And as I'm like trying to ask and clear things up, I'm trying to have a conversation. Like I really am not, I wasn't trying to argue. I wasn't trying to bicker. I'm just trying to come to an understanding because, again, like I said, I value my friendships and I would never want to be the type of friend in a group that everyone low-key thinks is mean, or low-key thinks hates them, or low-key thinks whatever they think. I don't want to be a negative person in the group. And if I am a negative person in the group, even if they don't want to tell me, if I'm able to like piece together the context clues, I want to be mature enough to be like, hey, it sounds like I'm a problem in the group and I make people uncomfortable and I make people this and I make people that, and that's not okay, and that's not what I want to be, and that's not what I want to do. So I'm going to take myself away from that situation and work on myself, right? So I'm trying to like determine if that's what I need to do, and like I need to do some self-reflections, right? And so, like I said, I'm asking them all these questions, and I'm trying to have a conversation and figure out what exactly led them to come to that conclusion. But all they're telling me is it was that instance. And again, I'm just trying to get more details. I'm like, so off of this one instance, we've determined that I'm a bad person, and I just always hated y'all. And I just personally felt like that wasn't fair to me. I just don't think it's fair to take this one instance where I said something that hurt y'all's feelings and then to apply it to the whole friendship and say I've never liked them and I've never fought with them and I've never cared about them or all these things. I just didn't feel like that was a fair thing to say. I felt like that was misrepresenting me, who I am, what I believe, what I stand for. I just didn't like that. And so I voiced that opinion. Now, I also want to, I can acknowledge now that, I mean, this was like, what, 3, 4, 5, maybe even like 7, maybe like 5, right? I don't even think this lasted for a whole week. This was maybe like 5 days after that initial apology. I thought that was a good enough space of time. I can sit here and I can acknowledge maybe trying to flip the situation. I wasn't like inherently intentionally trying to flip the situation. I was just trying to understand the situation. But what I feel like happened was they felt like I was trying to discredit what I said they felt like I was trying to like flip the script and be like, actually what I said wasn't wrong, and me making my jokes wasn't bad. And like I was trying to like act like what I said wasn't hurtful. And I can understand how they come to that conclusion. I said it then and I'll say it now. That's not what I was trying to do. I can acknowledge maybe I should have waited a little longer to speak up about the situation. Maybe. That's just not how it went down. And I can't really go back in time and change that. But, I also don't feel like I was wrong for trying to get understanding on why they felt like I was this bad person, right? Why I'm this person that never liked them, never fought with them, never cared about them. I just feel like, I was in the right for wanting to understand that. And so back to those 5 days later, in me trying to understand that, like I said, the only answer I'm getting is, oh, it's just that situation. And like I said before, I just didn't feel like it was fair to label me as this never liked me, never fought with me type person off of one incident. Am I right? Am I wrong? I mean, it's just a feeling. I don't think you can tell someone their feelings are right or wrong. That's just how I felt, and I just decided to speak on it then and there. And in doing so, eventually the group kind of was just like, why are you, like, I'm like trying to understand and explain, right? And eventually they're just like, why are you still talking about the situation? Why are you still dragging the situation on? Like, can you just drop it and leave it? They were like, this is why I didn't want to speak up about it. Look, now everything's awkward, and why are you speaking up about it? Like, can we please just drop the situation? Like, it's over. And I'll be very honest. At that point specifically, I started getting like upset and irritated because I'm just like, I'm really trying to have a conversation with my friends and like clear stuff up and make sure that I'm not a bad person. And in trying to do that, you guys are just telling me, stop talking about it, like move on. It's not that serious. Like, come on, can we please keep it pushing? Like, why do you keep bringing this up? And I'm like, I was shook, and then I'm just like, yo, like I'm just trying to make sure everything's clear. Like I'm trying to understand, like that shit was serious to me. Like you can't just sit there. To me, right? This is just how I'm feeling. You can't sit there and tell me I'm this person who never liked you, who don't fuck with you, who don't support you, who has never liked you, who thinks you're just my ultimate op and never liked you a day in my life, and then expect me to just be like, oh yeah, you're right, or expect me to be like, oh, you're wrong, and like move on from it. You're my friend. I gotta like dissect this. Like it sounds like there's something deeper going on. Like it sounds like I was doing things wrong and I was being a messed up person for more than just that one instance. And I wanted to figure out what them other instances was to get you to come to that conclusion. But as I'm asking them, it's like they're not telling me other instances. So then I'm just like, can we all agree that it's a little bit unfair to say that I've always hated you just off of this one instance? That's the agreement I'm trying to come to. But everyone's like, nope, you're still wrong. That one instance, you're wrong. And again, that's how they feel, and I'm not trying to sit here and say their feelings are wrong. They're entitled to feel that way. I just feel like it was a misrepresentation of me and who I am. I just feel like that wasn't right, and I just wanted to bring that to their attention, right? And so I did that, and they started just getting like, I just started getting this irritated vibe from everybody. Everyone just like, please move on. You're dragging it on. You're doing this and stop talking about it. And again, we're being transparent. We're being honest here. Like I said, at that point, I just go from trying to communicate to getting irritated. And as I'm getting irritated, I'm getting more petty, right? I start getting petty, and I'm not trying to sit there and say I didn't. I'm getting petty, and I'm just like, bro, like, I know we not sitting here acting like me trying to like admit my wrongs and apologize to y'all is a irritation, is a bother to you, right? Like, what the heck kind of friendship, what kind of situation is this? Like, I'm being penalized for wanting to own up to my wrongs and apologize to people for doing things wrong and making them feel a type of way, and y'all sitting there telling me I'm dragging shit on, I'm making a big deal out of nothing. So then in my mind, I'm just thinking, if it wasn't a big deal, if you weren't bothered by it, then why the fuck bring it up in the first place and be like, hey, Kendra, you said those jokes about me and I didn't like it. It's like, why bring it up then? If it really wasn't that big of a deal, and if I wasn't going to be allowed to like explain myself and like understand the situation, why bring it up in the first place, right? I was just really confused by that, and I'm starting to get irritated, and yeah, I'm saying what I'm saying, right? And so I start bringing up instances of them doing the same to me, right? Because I'm really trying to understand the situation. I'm bringing up instances where they have done the same thing to me. So one instance I brought up was when I like I said, I have different friend groups, and there was an instance where usually with that group, I used to play and be in Discords and talk with them a lot, right? I used to be with them a lot. Sometimes I would put off other things I had with other friends to go do things with them, right? And I would do that quite often. So on this particular day, I was like, I had been playing a game with them for like 3-4 hours, right? And my other friend wanted to play with me. And so I told them, hey y'all, it was fun playing with y'all. I want to go play with my other friend now. And as I'm leaving, they're like, wow, you hate us, bro. Like, you never fought with us. You want to go play with your other friends, but you hate us. You don't like us. You don't want to play with us. And in that moment, like, I didn't overanalyze it in the moment, but like, I looked at that moment and I was like, that's kind of weird. Like, why would y'all say that? It's like, am I not allowed to have other friends, right? Am I not allowed to go play with other friends and enjoy things with other friends? And also, I can understand that it was a joke. And when I brought that instance to them in this conversation we had, when I brought that situation up, first of all, they were like, I never said that. I never did that. And I was just like, oh, okay, I guess I just made that up. I don't really I don't understand what benefit I had for making that up, but they literally just told me, I don't think that really happened like that. They were like, we're just joking. If it did happen, we were just joking, and there's no reason to take that seriously. And so I'm just like, that's exactly what's going on, right? So in that instance, you said something, and you made me feel like I was a bad friend, and like I couldn't go have other friends and couldn't go talk and hang out with my other friends, but you were joking. So in this situation where we're playing the game and I'm joking, it's not okay for me to joke, but it's okay for y'all to joke in that situation. And so I was calling out a hypocrisy, a moment of hypocrisy, right? I'm just like, hey, that's you. Can we not acknowledge that when y'all did it to me, you're telling me I'm supposed to just get over it. It's a joke, haha. But when I do it to you, I'm supposed to feel bad, say sorry, etc., etc. And I don't. Again, I'm not saying I shouldn't have said sorry, but I'm just bringing up that instance because it's just like, y'all see, I was just trying to joke. So why is it like an issue for everyone to understand that I was just joking and that I really don't feel that way? Because in my situation, when I wanted to go play games with my friend, I could have sat there and said, oh, y'all never fucked with me, or y'all always try to control me and y'all always want me to be your friend. And I could have spun it all types of ways, but I didn't do that, right? I brought up an instance where they had made a comment about my husband. And yes, they brought it up, and then we all thought it was funny, and so we joke about it. And one day my husband was like, hey, I don't like them calling me that, or why do they keep calling me that? I don't look like him. Stop saying that. I don't look like him, like it's not true. And he didn't like that. And so I told them, hey, why y'all calling my husband this name? He don't like that. And again, they're just like, we didn't do that. You started that. And I'm just like, I don't know about that. This is the second time they're telling me they never did it. I started it. So at this point, I'm going to get screenshots, right? Because especially with that specific instance with my husband, I know for a fact that they started it. So I go back and I find the screenshots of them being the one starting it, and I send it to them, and then it's just crickets. All of a sudden, nobody says nothing. Nobody even acknowledged the screenshot. It's right there. Nobody said anything about it. All of a sudden, it's just like, you still started it. I didn't say it. And there's literally proof right there. They're like, didn't happen, never happened. You're making stuff up. And I'm just like, okay, like now, like at that point, I'm starting to get mad. Because now I'm just like, I'm literally calling out instances where y'all have said things to me, and I didn't go flipping, twisted in all these ways. My point in bringing those instances up to them, I was just trying to like make it be known, like we all joke. We all joke. We've all said things that could be considered hurtful, but because we all know each other and we understand that we all joke, no one would take it that way. So I'm just trying to like gauge like why they would take my joke and come to the conclusion that I've always hated them. Like, if that's how we're gonna think, there were plenty other instances where they could have done that to me and I could have done that to them. So I'm really just trying to understand why this moment was it that big of an issue, right? And, in me bringing up those examples where I could have done the same to them, they're just like, nah, I never said that. I never hurt your feelings. I never said this. I never said that. And, the group's just like, I'm not finna apologize for something I never said. I never did. I never meant. And I'm just like, what the heck? Like, if that's the case, yeah, and y'all get on my head and correct me, bro. I'm trying to be a morally good person, bro. I'm not trying to sit here and act like I never did anything, or I'm trying to act like I have not said mean things or done bad things in my life. Yes, I have. But y'all let me know. It's like, if I'm bringing up instances where they did the same thing to me, and then their explanation is it's a joke, or I didn't mean it that way, or I get to say it, or I said it as a joke, or if they get to say I'm not saying sorry for something when I meant it as a joke, then I got a little petty. I'm like, well, in this situation, what I was saying was a joke, but y'all got mad. I could have sat there and not apologized and be like, well, it's just a joke and you took my joke too seriously. I'm not going to apologize for something I didn't mean or I didn't say. I would have been wrong to do that in that situation, but you're telling me you get to not say sorry for something because you didn't mean it that way, or because I took it away because I took it in a way that you didn't mean it, you shouldn't have to apologize. So then in this situation, if I were to be like, well, y'all took my joke and thought I really meant that in a way to hate you, so I shouldn't apologize for that. That wouldn't have been fair, right? That would have been messed up. And so I called that out, and then everyone just like, at that point, I think we're all just getting like back and forth, nitpicky with each other. We're just like, well, you do this and you do that. And we're going back and forth. And long story short, after they said that, I kind of just came to the conclusion. I'm just like, clearly, like at that point, I'm feeling like, clearly I'm a bad person. I've done everything wrong. Y'all have never said anything mean about nobody. Y'all have never said this about that. And it was just weird to me because, again, like, I'm looking back in the messages and I'm seeing instances of people in that group saying, oh yeah, I like to shit talk on people for no reason because it's fun. Literal screenshots of people saying that. They're saying that, but all of a sudden they've never said anything mean, never done anything bad. There's screenshots of there are moments where people have compared themselves to this exact same person that has sent them death threats and has body shamed them and threatened to fight them. They literally compared themselves to that person. And they're like laughing and joking about it, and it's all funny, hee shits and giggles when they do it. But then when I do it, it's an issue. Like when I call them out on it, now they never did it. Or now I'm the person who sends death threats and body shames and threatens to fight people because I made a joke that got misconstrued. But when you literally compare yourself to that person, it's just a joke. It's just funny. It's just not that deep. It's just so it's cool when I do it, but it's a problem when I do it. You feel it's cool when they do it, but it's a problem when I do it. And I did not like that, so I'm calling them out. And I'm just realizing the conversation is not going anywhere because everyone's just pointing fingers at me. I'm the problem. I'm the mean one. I'm the one always starting everything. I'm the one who's always bringing drama to the group. I'm the one always gossiping in the group. I'm the one who's always bringing all the bad. Anything that was bad and negative about the group, it was my fault. Like, that's essentially what they were saying, right? That's just how I felt they were saying, right? Like, clearly it's just words at this point, but that's just how I was interpreting it. Because every time I'm bringing up instances of them calling or them saying things about people, it's like, never did it or didn't mean it that way, so it's not bad when I do it. You know, they're literally, I did too. I was being mean too. I was joking too. I was nitpicking too, right? I'm not trying to sit here and say I never did it back to them, but it's just weird because I'm sitting there admitting that I hurt their feelings and that what I said was wrong and that I've said wrong things and done hurtful things. But then they're just like, but I never did. Nobody is owning up for what they did, right? And I just didn't like that. So at the end, I just came to the conclusion that they're not gonna take accountability. And like I said like I said earlier, I guess trying to hold my friends accountable is a bad thing because I guess they're an adult, and if they don't feel like they need to be held accountable, I have no place in trying to hold them accountable. And vice versa. Clearly, I'm wrong for wanting my friends to point out instances where I've been a bad person. I just, I don't know. I just feel like that's weird. Like, I feel like as a friend, maybe if it was a stranger, I'd get it. But like as a friend, if you see me doing something wrong, if you see me being mean, if you see me being violent, hurtful, whatever, I would hope that you want to correct me. But again, they're just like, you're an adult. You can correct yourself. So, here I am correcting myself then, right? So, all that happened, and I just came to the conclusion that I just didn't feel welcomed in the group. Like, they just kept making me seem like I'm the bad person. So I'm just like, okay, well, maybe I should just leave the group then, because you're telling me I hurt your feelings with my joke. I hurt your feelings with my joke. I'm making up stuff about my husband and I'm blaming it on y'all. I'm starting stuff with other people and blaming it on y'all. And I'm just doing all these things and trying to act like it's y'all's fault. And if that's the case, then I need to go get help, bro. Because describing all those things, it sounds like I'm a really bad person, right? I'm like a weird person with some lying issues and some accountability issues that I should probably go work on. And so that's what I did. So that's why I took the break, right? And like I said, I talked to family and people and doctors and medical professionals, etc., etc. And, I'm not a narcissist. I'm not a pathological liar. We've already situated that. There's nothing wrong with me. People have told me, hey, the jokes you made about your friends weren't cool. And that's just that. Other people have said the jokes you made about your friends weren't cool, but you're okay for speaking up and wanting to, clarify yourself. But at the end of the day, everyone's like, well, you're not this bad demon. Like, you're not this bad. They were saying I don't sound like this bad person that's trying to deflect blame onto people, who's trying to start stuff and who's trying to be mean and who's trying to hate on people and do all these things. Like, essentially, they're just saying I'm not the kind of person that the group is trying to paint me out to be, right? And I'm glad I got the help, because the first 2 months really was messing with my mind. I ain't gonna lie. I was really sitting there like, dang, I really am a bad person, right? Like, I have my friends, these people that I've been friends with for years, right? Months. They're sitting here telling me I'm this bad person. I must be this bad person. And it was really effing with my mental. So I had to stop and really situate that, right? And I guess this is controversial opinion. For me, fixing myself, addressing mental health or addressing personal issues, for me, I can't just go eat a bar of chocolate and take a bubble bath and call that helping myself, right? If I have an issue, if there's something wrong with me, I really need to go fix it, right? I feel like if I would have just like not gotten the real help, I would have just been sitting here in delusion thinking I did nothing wrong and everything was just their fault. But I got the help and I can realize where I went wrong and where they went wrong, right? I felt like I was being penalized for wanting to just hold everyone accountable, myself included. And that's why everything fell out. And, yeah, like I said, I started to like reflect on myself and my life. And, the situation did help me in many ways because I was able to like figure out some communication things. Like I definitely could be a better listener and better at understanding things when people are expressing their feelings. I definitely feel like I can convey what I'm trying to say in better ways. I've addressed and acknowledged that I do have an issue with making everything a joke, and I realize not everybody jokes like me, and just because I mean something as a joke, it doesn't take away from its harmful value. And something else I was able to learn from the situation was that not all friendships are meant to last, right? Granted, this is legit in terms of friends. This is the second friend group that I've lost because of like issues. Most people for me, lost friendships typically just happen because I grow up, or we grow up, right? We grow up and now I have a husband and a kid and I just can't do all the crazy stuff I was able to do when I didn't have those things. But like I'm still in touch with people and I'll still reach out to old friends and talk to them. I've never like had a falling out with a friend group except for this time. This time is where it's like actually bad. And the other time it happened was just because a friend just like left. Like she didn't explain or anything. She kind of just disappeared and then we were all just left like, wonder why. Like, we never got any answers there. But like, so this is really like the first time where it's like falling out. And I definitely learned I definitely can like pick from this instance. And if there's situations in the future, I know how to address the situation and talk about it and like deal with it, because I definitely think this situation, not that I dealt with it poorly, but I just feel like it just got uglier than it needed to be, right? I definitely feel like looking back now, I would have much rather just been like, they would have said their apology, they would have said their concerns, I would have said my apology, and I would have kind of just left it at that and let it simmer. And if we would have kept talking, we would have kept talking. And if the friendship died down, it would have died down. And we would have left it at that. And none of this extra stuff would have had to happen. Just to avoid everyone a headache, right? Because I do feel like the situation just became a lot at some point, and then it really was just not worth it for either of us. And then we all just gave up and just didn't want to argue no more. Or not even argue, converse. I was just trying to have a conversation, bro. I was not trying to argue. But I learned that from the situation. But I also learned to like speak up for myself, right? Like I said at the start, I do feel like they try to like make me feel bad for wanting to discuss the situation and speak out on instances where they've done the same thing to me, right? Like I don't feel like I should be penalized for wanting to speak about instances where they did similar stuff to me. I don't feel like that's fair. Like you get to speak up and call out instances where, or in that instance, because I was trying to get other instances and really see like where these opinions came from. But it's like you can speak on this one instance and then you can speak on it and feel the way you feel and it's okay. But when I speak on an instance where y'all have hurt my feelings or other people's feelings, I'm wrong for wanting to do so. And I've learned like it's okay. It wasn't wrong for me to speak up in that situation, because there was a cool little point where I felt wrong for speaking up on that situation. And I shouldn't have felt wrong. And I don't feel wrong now. I did at the time, but now it's like, I don't feel wrong for speaking up. I reached out to some people and I was trying to let those people know, hey, there are people in this group that have said some mean things about you. First of all, hold up. Let me rephrase this. I reached out to other people and I was like, hey, I just want you to know that I've said some hurtful things about you behind your back. Like I've made some jokes about you behind your back, or I said some mean things about you behind your back, trying to be funny and silly and shit, but it's just not funny and silly, and I just wanted to apologize to you. Like, realistically, that person would have never known, and I could have just sat there and act like it never happened, but just on my conscience, it's like, it's not cool. So I go talk about it, And I did. I'm just like, the group kind of got on your head this one day about this one specific thing, and I just didn't think it was okay, and I just wanted to apologize on behalf of the group. And then the group's just like, why are you telling them? Why are you lying and saying I said this and I said that, and I didn't say this and I didn't say that? And like the group literally is sending screenshots of the DMs from people and being like, it was just very weird and confusing, bro. It was very weird and confusing to me, bro, because that group literally would be there smack talking people behind their back. They've done it, not just me. They've done it. And I just brought it to their attention. I'm like, guys, why do we... I've never been in a group that gossips, bro. Me, you see me, y'all see me. I don't attract the gossipers, right? Or, I'm not... The gossipers typically don't like me. All my friends, we just play games and we just crack jokes about each other, right? I've never been in a group that will like talk about other people so often, so casually, right? And again, I'm not saying I didn't participate, but it's just like, at that point, I'm like, my conscience is catching up with me, and I'm just like, why are we doing this, guys? Like, why are we sitting here dissing this person and dissing that person? Why when do we all become so comfortable with talking about people behind their back? That's just not okay. And again, I'm a very wrong person for doing that, but what I'm hoping in this video is that people can see, like, I'm acknowledging that those things are wrong about me and I'm trying to work on it. I feel like people that can acknowledge their wrongs and work on it are way better than people that act like they've never done wrong and that they're just these morally great people and they've never said anything bad and never done anything wrong. It's just weird to me that there are people out there like that, and you literally have proof of them being mean and random. There are instances where I didn't start it and they will just randomly come out there and be like, haha, this person's weird, or this person's stupid, or oh my gosh, she's so irritating, or oh my gosh, they're so this, and they just randomly do it, right? And like I said, I'm admitting, when I'm around now for so long, I start participating into it too, and it's not right. And I just wanted to call that out, and I just feel like that group tried to make me feel bad for wanting to call that out. And so, I don't know, I've felt bad at the moment, but I've learned that it's okay to call that stuff out. And, I feel like everyone should take a moment. Every so often, they should stop and think about what they do and think why they do it and if it's benefiting someone or not. Now, people gossip, bro. The gossip's never gonna stop. I'm not saying never gossip, never say something. If I'm out and about and someone does something weird, I'm gonna talk about it. But like, I can talk about it and be like, why did that person do that? Without like going deeper and being like, ooh, they're so irritating. If I see them one more time, I swear I'm gonna flip, or I swear I'm gonna get mad. Someone's just talking about like mundane-ish and people are going crazy on them, like, oh my god, I hate them, never want to talk to them again. It's just like, okay, now I think we're doing a little too much, guys. Can we please just admit that we're doing too much? They didn't want to admit it, and then I was wrong for bringing it up. Don't really get why, but now I'm just rambling. Obviously, I'm just rambling. But that break was a good one. Let's shift the conversation for a second. The break was really good for me. I was able to sit down and reflect and think about stuff. I was able to find out things about me that, I could work on, like my communication skills, like my joking, etc. But I also found out, I also just gained a new confidence for speaking my opinion and being who I am, right? I don't feel bad for holding people accountable. I don't feel wrong for wanting to be held accountable. I don't feel wrong for... I just feel like a human, right? I feel human, and I've done human things, and I'm just admitting when I'm wrong, and I'm just maturing, right? I feel like all young people, we gossip, right? We all do it. All friends groups do it. And, in the context of the friend group, it's okay. But it's also just like, as I get older, it's like, why are we keeping like I said, I was the youngest person in that group, the second youngest. There was like, 5 people in that group? I was 23 at the time when I left the group. I'm 23. Everybody else is at minimum 23 and older, right? And she's like, why are we 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, whatever, talking about people and gossiping the way we are? Again, I'm getting sidetracked. Let me wrap this up. I took that break and I just really figured out myself, what I do wrong and right, what I worked on, what I need to work on, and what I feel like I have down pat. And I was able to just, really, it was very, I got a lot of clarity, right? I did. I actually took a break from a bunch of friends for at least 2 months, right? Even my high school best friend, I was just like, hey, I'm just about to do me and chill. Don't talk to me. Let me really like get myself together. And it was very refreshing actually to just take a break, right? I don't regret it. I've had my little creative itch that whole time too. There's a bunch of things I want to make and film and talk about, so I'm still gonna get into the swing of things. But I definitely think the break was needed. This was like a level up break. This wasn't like a, oh, I'm overworked or there's too much on my plate. It was more like a level up. I feel like I just unlocked a new version of myself that's way better than the old version of myself, right? And I'm very happy to share that version of myself with everybody, right? So that's where I've been. That's what's been going on. Again, the people that I talked about in the story, they're probably gonna, I'm a demon, I'm evil, I'm mean, I'm bad, I'm the wrong, I'm always wrong, they're always right, and that's probably what's gonna come of this video from that perspective. But I really do hope that anyone who sees this now or in the future, if I really just want to talk about it so that anyone hears anything that they can relate to, good or bad, they have the courage to like address it. So if you feel like you're being unfairly like criticized in your friend group, speak up about it. Or if you notice that you get on someone else's head for no real reason, correct yourself and apologize for it. If you feel like you've been misrepresented, speak up about it. If you notice that someone needs to be held accountable, hold them accountable. Don't feel bad for wanting to hold someone accountable. And if someone's trying to hold you accountable, listen to what they're saying, especially if it's someone you care about. Listen to what they say and really work on yourself, right? And then I also, hopefully anyone out there hears this and they take this seriously. It's like, really invest in yourself, right? Really invest in yourself. I know I'm not saying taking bubble baths and going on a walk and doing a little dinner, going out for dinner and stuff is not self-care. But like, if y'all know that there's something really, truly deep that you got to work on, I just want it to be known that we got to do more than just take bubble baths and eat dinners, right? You really got to go talk to someone, go talk to people. Even if I know the way the world's working right now, maybe you can't get therapists, but go talk to someone, go talk to a friend, anyone trusted, and like talk about it and get it out there so you can hear yourself and you can hear the situation that you're in, and you can start to pinpoint areas that you need working on, and use the internet. A lot of the things I learned honestly came from my psychology class, right? And my sociology classes and my philosophy classes. They're like little things I've learned from there. Granted, I'm going in the medical field, so I feel like, I kind of need to know this stuff, but, or like I'm interested in knowing this stuff for the sake of the job I want. But like, the internet's out there and it tells you a bunch of things to look out for. It'll be like, hey, if you talk smack about people and you like that, you might want to like look into that deeper, right? Whatever you want to do, however you want to look it up. I don't want to tell people how to do therapy and how to self-help themselves. It's just a suggestion. But I do think it's beneficial to really like look into it and work on it, rather than like just, what I'm trying to say is to really help yourself, you have to like address the issue, not push it away, right? If you know you have a problem with, like in my case, if I'm sitting here and I'm being told I have this issue with being mean to people and hating people, if I just like go and take a bath and do a little routine or whatever, that's not me addressing the issue, that's me pushing the issue away. And that type of self-care does help in certain instances, but it's always going to come back if you never really address it, right? So you have to address the issue, determine why you do the thing that you do, what encouraged you, what influenced you to behave the way that you behave, and then figure out ways that you can fix it so that you don't behave that way as much, right? If I'm mean, I want to address what makes me mean, what's happened in my past that's made me mean, and I want to find ways where I can start pointing out in the moment instances where I am mean and correct it so that I'm not mean. And I get to a point where my first instinct isn't being mean, but instead I can be nice and kind, right? So that's all I want to talk about. I definitely know this was a long-winded thing. I don't know how long this is after it's all edited, but I spoke about it. I don't feel bad in speaking up about it. If anyone has something to say to me about what I've said, feel free to tell me, whether, I don't know, in the comments or on my Instagram or something. If you want to do that privately, go for it. I'm not here to argue. I'm just here to understand. If anyone wants to point out some, like, where I'm wrong, or if I said anything here and you feel like, nah, you still wrong for that, you shouldn't be thinking that way, let me know. I'm all about self-improvement, bro. Like, I'm not here to act like I'm perfect, right? I am an imperfect person, and I can work on things. So if y'all notice anything or want to say anything, or if you want to acknowledge me and be like, hey, you're a real solid person for being able to admit this or that. If you want to compliment me, whatever, go for it. If you don't and you want to criticize me, go for it. Either way, it doesn't matter. This is the only serious video like this that I intended to make. After this, you will see me get back to my regular scheduled programming. Like I said, I have a bunch of other things I want to talk about, discuss about, joke about. I'm going to still be me. Don't worry. I'm not going to get on here and start acting like a completely different person. I'm still me. It's just, in my personal relationships, I'm getting better. Just know off camera, I'm being a decent person. I'm getting better at being a decent person. And life's going great off camera, right? Thank you to everybody out there that wasn't like super close personal friends and families that have checked on me, that are worried about me, and that let me know they think about me. And they was like, hey, where you been? What the videos? What's going on? Shout out to y'all. Y'all some real ones. Shout out to anyone that sees this video and still decides I'm worthy of watching. And I completely understand anyone that watches this video and thinks, hey, you're a bad person, I'm not watching no more. I get that, right? Like, I can't win them all, right? And I'm not trying to win them all. I'm just trying to be honest, bro. At the end of the day, I'm just trying to be honest. And I just want to thank y'all for listening to my honesty, right? So yeah, that's all I got to say. Thank y'all for watching this, and I'll see y'all in the next video.